Hi, I'm Robbie from Autowave. In this video we've got an Audi A7 2013 which has come for a spare remote key. So we're going to use the Obdstar G3, program this via OBD. It's got a BCM2 system which also referred to as a fifth IMO system. We're going to use AUT RK0256. It's a keyless vehicle. So yeah, it's keyless and push button start, and we're going to program a spare key to it. So let's get on with it. So the OBD port in this vehicle is just down at the bottom where you'll find most of these Audis. So I'm just going to plug that in. Now my original key, if I test the central lock-in, it's all working. You might have heard the clicking there. I've got my new key, which is obviously not programmed at all. Now being a keyless vehicle, just close the door. Being a keyless vehicle, I've got a push start button down here. So I've got the key in my hand and I can just push start and it will start the vehicle. I just turn it off, and now I'll also show you here you have the emergency start position, which will be important for programming. So I'm going to go into my menu, which is it's a car, Europe, and then go into VW, Audi, Skoda, Seat. As I said, it's a fifth immobilizer system, but the Obdstar G3 will tell you that anyway, because I'm going to select by model, select Audi, A7, 11 to 19. So it tells you it's a 5th generation IMO. So in this process, what we have to do is we have to read the immobilizer data, which is actually held on the BCM, which is in the rear. Read that, then make a dealer key, and then once we've made a dealer key, we will learn the keys into the vehicle. So when I learn the keys in, I'll be touching on the emergency start. That's why it's an important part to show you. And on the dashboard, we will see where it will have 0 of 2, 1 of 2, 2 of 2, which you'll see very shortly. So when I go to the learning process, we'll zoom in onto the screen and you'll be able to see. So right now the ignition's off. I'm going to press read IMO data. So it tells me to turn the ignition on. Now what I like to do is I like to just put it in the emergency slot and turn the ignition on. Because for some vehicles you need that, some vehicles you don't. I'm just doing it anyway. So I'm just going to hold that into position and read the data. As you can see on the screen, it's reading the immobilizer data. You'll get some warning lights come up on the dashboard while you're doing this. It's because you're communicating with the BCM, so it's obviously disconnected with various other modules in the car, so the car is thinking that there's faults, but that's very normal, so nothing to worry about. This process takes about a minute or two. Okay, so it's successfully read our EEPROM data. So it's giving me a default file name. What I'm just going to do is I'm just going to rename it, because I use this for quite a few things. So I'm just going to put A7 and then ORI for original. Press OK. Right, so you can select get CS and pin code from EEPROM. You don't really need to in this process. So I'm just going to go skip straight to make dealer key. So if I hit make dealer key, it's asking me for which file that's got the immobilizer data on. So I'm just going to go to the file that I've just read, which now you see why I named it as such, so I can locate it. Here we go, BCM2 Audi A7 ORI. Put a valid key in the key sensing cord and make sure the key is effective, otherwise a programmed key is unable to start. So this is a valid key. It's reading the data from there. Now it says place a new key into the sensing core. So I'm putting the new key in. Press OK. It's writing data. So now it's writing the data onto the key, making it into a dealer key. Written success. Press OK. So now that's a dealer key. That's a dealer key, because obviously that was the working key anyway. So I'm going to program the keys. Now what I like to do is just turn the ignition off and then back on again. There we go. Right, so if I press, in fact, I'm going to leave the ignition in the off position. There we go. Right, so if I press program keys, it asks me for that original file again. So I'm just selecting my original file. Press OK. So I've got the ignition off at this stage. Now it says after recognized by vehicle, the key will be locked and unable to unlock. So basically it means once you've used it, once you've locked these keys, you won't be able to use again on anything else. Press OK. How many keys in total? Now this will erase all the keys and recode them back in. So I'm going to enter 2. Gives you a warning that once you've programmed, you can't do anything with them. So if I hit 2, press OK. So it says turn the ignition on. So turn the ignition on, press OK. Now on the dashboard, you'll see come up very shortly 0 of 2. So we're going to learn the keys one by one. We'll just wait for that to come up on the dash. So it's got L3 and then 0 of. Okay, and then now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put first key to the emergency slot, the emergency position, should I say. Sometimes it takes a moment. Just turn the ignition off, turn it back on. There we go. On the dashboard, you'll see 1 of 2. And then, might not be able to see it because of the light. And then I'm going to take that key away and I'm going to put the second key on. Just cycle the ignition again. And you see 2 of 2. There we go, 2 of 2. It says on the screen, succeed to recognise key. I press OK. Now it's just taken out of key learning mode. So once it takes it out of key learning mode, that is basically job done, and both of the keys should operate on the central lock-in and also start the vehicle via prox. Right, it says learn success. So now I'll test my my new key. So got a remote central lock-in working absolutely fine, and the vehicle is started. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. So just to confirm, we've got an Audi A7 2013, an AUTRK 0256, which is an Autowave proxy key, programmed with the Obdstar G3 via OBD. Thank you.